Hello and welcome to the Brick News, the weekly show on all things brick building, where we talk about set updates and announcements from all the major brands, MOCs of the week, and a few reading recommendations as well. Information is presented as always by setdb.org, the best source for set information on the internet, and this is where we're going to go. We will start as always with set updates, going through the brands in alphabetical order. And first is BlueBrixx, the brand here from Central Germany or Central Europe, in Germany, whatever. Anyhow, Cabin of the Woods, which house is now available? The 107913. BlueBrixx is asking for $70, 3.9 cents a piece, and not too shabby. And yeah, I really like the design. It is very detailed. It has the typical BlueBrixx special mock vibe, but you can actually buy it as a set. A lot of screen stuff included. Not 100% sure how good these pieces are, so definitely intend to build it. So I don't know, I may have some updates on this going forward as well, but I guess I won't be able to do it this year. But definitely on my list, a really beautiful detailed set. Basically of a hut in the wild. And then available is another set from BlueBrixx from the ModBrixx line, the Doctor's Office 107904, 655 pieces. Looks like more, but I guess it's just big pieces, a lot of bricks, not so much like 1x1 plates and stuff. $30, not too shabby, 4.6 cents a piece. And yeah, I really like the design. I think for me, this is how a kit set should be, in my opinion, because it is a true building. There's a lot of space on the inside. It's not like what Lego is doing nowadays, where basically houses are not really houses anymore, just a facade. But this one is a real house, but still you can remove the back wall, so kids can play with it. There's a lot of space for minifigures, but at the same time, it's still a full building. It's built on a 16x16 plate. Pretty cool design. Same as is the train station kiosk 107946, 14 bucks. And if you look at the roof here, actually, just I want to point out one quick thing. There you see that you have the 2x2 curved slopes, but also a corner version. If I remember correctly, this is something that BlueBrixx has this piece exclusive. I think that is a piece that they created a couple of years ago for their train, and it's good to see that they are now also using this in other sets and buildings as well. Next to that, I mean, it's a relatively small, straightforward set. And I think because there's a ton of newspapers and magazines and stuff, kind of problematic that BlueBrixx does not have any printed pieces. Or, I mean, I cannot say this 100% anymore, because actually they did release a BlueBrixx special that did include 2 printed pieces, but in general they don't. So, however, on the other hand, you can basically, get Lego printed newspaper pieces, for instance. But keep in mind, this is not just a render. Technically, BlueBrixx is not shipping any printed pieces with the set. 305 pieces though, $14, 4.6 cents a piece. As always, as I keep repeating every week, for those of you especially coming from North America, in Europe, prices over here always include value-add tax. Keep that in mind when you take a look at the price rate. With that, we're moving on to the Flower Shop 107787, also from the ModBrixx line again. And I think I've talked about these sets before. BlueBrixx has several of these in their lineup. Basically, these are like, you can put these in between modular buildings. As you can see, the Technic pin connection that is typical for Lego modular building is included here as well. So in case you are interested in putting some stuff in between your modulars, this may be for you. And like the name suggests, this is supposed to be a flower shop. And I think compared to the kiosk, the problem is not that big in regards to the lack of pet printed pieces. 527 pieces though, $23, 4.4 cents a piece. And then we have the camping diorama at the lake 107459. This is kind of an alternative, if you will, because Lego relatively recently had one of these in their Bricking Designer program. So if that maybe was too small for you, this may be to your interest. Technically, I prefer the Bricking Designer program one because it was more like a freeform mock, if I recall correctly, while this one here is in this like static frame of black slopes. But anyhow, $50, 4.2 cents a piece, and there are actually 1,192 pieces in this set. Really like the design, especially like the tree. I think the tree has a lot. I mean, it's a relatively simple, straightforward construction as the entire set is, but I really like the green parts of the tree. There's a lot of volume in there, which I think is quite nice. Not there's a lot of trees in this size that have an issue with that there's a lack of volume, if you ask me, but I think this one looks really cool. I also really like the entire lake or watery part, all the plant work here as well. So this thing really screams vacation to me. And then we have the Hollywood Hills Villa 107336. This set has 620 pieces, and BlueBrixx is asking for 23 bucks, 3.7 cents a piece. Here on the other hand, I really don't like the tree. From my point of view, there's simply not enough green, not enough leaves, foliage, etc. Compared to the dark brown wooden part. It almost looks like the electric mast or something. I don't know. I really don't like how this, let's say, the volume is not really fitting of the two components of the tree. The house itself, though, is quite nice. I mean, it's also very sturdy built. I mean, it's brick built, which in this size, I do believe looks a bit too simple for my taste, but nevertheless, quite an interesting architecture set. With that, we're moving on to a guitar, the Festival Bass 107457, 724 pieces. BlueBrixx is asking for 25 bucks. I've never played a guitar in my life, so I can't really talk about it. From my point of view, though, the shape of the guitar looks a bit too, I don't know, too rough edges. Really don't like the slope work that much, but nevertheless, all you need is included, including the amplifier, for just 25 bucks. Not too shabby. Then we have another German Army GTK Boxer of the German Bundeswehr, a 108001. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess if you're interested in a small military vehicle that is not too pricey, this may be for you. 19 bucks, which is for a BlueBrixx set with only 314 pieces, relatively on the high side. Actually, 6 cents a piece would be a good price for a Lego set, but keep in mind this is definitely not the same piece quality. So anyhow, 19 bucks for this one. Which I personally think is much more interesting is the Mini Bismarck. So for those of you who think, yeah, all these Cobi sets are just too big or I don't have the space anymore, so if you want to go smaller and still want a battleship, a 107948 may be for you. Only 16 bucks, 507 pieces. Also, if you're not sure yet if battleship design is for you, this may be a good way to enter before you invest into a much more expensive Cobi set. And I actually must say, I mean, it's built with regular slopes, 2x2 curved slopes, most and foremost for the hull, but which of course has its drawbacks. So it is a rough shape, but I think it's clearly what this is supposed to be. I think everyone who knows how the Bismarck looks like will be able to recognize it. So that's all pretty cool. And I mean, in this size, there's not much more you can do. Really like this design and concept. And I think, yeah, I'm not sure if I really like the water piece below it. I would prefer just to have the ship, but I guess that's a matter of taste. All in all, not a bad design. And then, and I will go very briefly through these, a ton of vehicles are also available from BlueBrixx. Most of these vehicles are like in the 6-stud area. So I guess most and foremost, if you put even a minifigure in it, it will be only enough space for one figure. So basically a car that is similar to the days when Lego before Lego was raising the Speed Champions to 8 studs. But technically these are not comparable to Speed Champions as well. As you can see, even sometimes the windows are bricked. So the goal here is not that you will be able to put a minifigure in. Anyhow, as always, I will link all the sets here that are in the list down below. For those of you who watch this on YouTube, it's in the video description. For everybody else who watch this or is listening to it on Spotify, I do have a video version on Spotify, by the way, as well as on TikTok. On most platforms, you will find down below also a podcast show notes. Actually, not on TikTok. Unfortunately, not. TikTok is not there yet. But everybody else, just check it out down below. And with that, we're moving on to CaDA. And CaDA now has a Maserati license. I think this is a very first Maserati set that CaDA has ever done. Yes, I do think so. Cobi has Maserati, of course. Raster does have it. I think Lego has never done a Maserati set as far as I can tell, but now CaDA is in the game as well. So if you're a fan of this Italian brand, 51089 maybe for you. I think it's a pretty sleek and nice looking car. This is a render picture though, so I don't know if all of these pieces that you see here are pet printed or just a sticker or decal. I don't know. I've seen both from CaDA recently. Sometimes they include stickers, sometimes they go pet printed. For instance, here on this veg tile or whatever this piece is called, this looks like a sticker. Everything else looks like a print, but I can't be sure. Anyhow, it's a pretty sleek looking design, and this is not the Speed Champion equivalent. This is actually remotely a car that you can control remotely. So this is part of the dual mode control lineup of CaDA. And how this basically works is you have like a black box on the inside and you attach the wheels directly to the box, and in the box is everything, right? There is your battery included and your receiver and the motor and steering and everything. And you basically build the chassis around it, or build the car around it, if you will. And the great benefit is that these things look relatively good. And they are a lot of fun to drive around because they are just much more robust and feel a lot more like an RC car compared to a Technic vehicle or Technic set. So this thing can be both. It can look nice and sleek on the shelf, but also you can drive around like crazy with these because, yeah, basically, like I said, they feel like an RC car if you drive them around. What you can also do with these, and I've tried this a little bit, it's fun. You can also program these, but because they don't have any sensors, you can't do anything like, okay, drive until you hit a wall and then you go in another direction. This is not possible. What you can basically do is like drive forward for 30 seconds, then turn right for 2 seconds, and then move again for 30 seconds, something like that. So relatively simple, but I think also a nice touch, especially for kids, to get into computer science and programming. And this is a graphical programming language, and everything that you need, like condition loops and all this stuff, is there. And in fact, I know that my kids in school use very similar platforms to learn how to code. So this could be quite an interesting thing. Anyhow, let's move on to Cobi. Just a quick update, and I think for the international audience or the non-European audience, it's not that interesting. But we have a few more prices on the Compagnie wagons from Cobi 6289, especially on the 6291. We also have now more availabilities over here in Europe. Actually, I did talk about this a bit more this morning in the German version of this show because this thing is showing up now with German retailers. Unfortunately, not all of them have English-speaking websites. That's why I don't list them here. But I think they are coming now. I think that can be said for sure. Just as a quick update, definitely for the Panzerkampfwagen 2 Ausführung F, aka Second World War tank by the Germans, 2597, 1x28 tank with only one minifigure, it seems. Here we also have now more availabilities in the UK, in the US, and in the EU. It's still on pre-order. But I think this one is coming as well. Just as a quick update, the same is true for Sonderkraftfahrzeug 124 Wespe. For you guys, a little bit too German to learn here. I don't know how to. I wouldn't even know how to try to pronounce this in English. But anyhow, this is how we do this in Germany. 2598, 3 minifigures, like the name suggests. That's executive edition, so there's a ton of prints and everything in there. And we do have also now first prices or retail prices over here from Europe. In this case, $84 for the 855 pieces and 3 minifigs. Don't know the number of prints yet, but basically it's all here. With that, we're moving on to Forange, and here we have actually 4 sets, a new building series, it seems. I don't have that many pictures about these, but basically it's relatively simple buildings. I mean, Forange has done these in the past. Usually they come with minifigures included. Also, usually these are like problematic minifigures, at least from a European perspective. You may have problems to import these into Europe, but based on these pictures, I can't say for sure because there are minifigures on the box here, but these are like comic renderers. like animated figures, right? Drawn figures. That these are not minifigures by means of bricks. So I don't know actually what is included in the set. Long story short, 8401. $26 over in China, in this case we are one of my Chinese retail partners, 653 pieces. And then we have second the coffee shop, 8402, 698 pieces, again $26. And then the 8403, the clothing store, 700 pieces and $27, so slightly more. And then we have the restaurant, the 8404, and this one is going to cost you again $27, 770 pieces. As always, when I talk about Chinese retailers, and I mean, it's true for everything. I mean, your mileage may vary depending on where you live, but it is 27, I think, including shipping into Germany. This is the price that I put in the ZDB, but again, it really depends on where you live. Customs may be a topic, etc., etc. With that, we're moving on to Lego, and here we have the first set that is coming with the new Lego computer game. I think it's called Lego Horizon Adventures, if I recall correctly. 77037 is the set that comes with that. Aloy and Val versus Shellwalker and Sawtooth. So this is a set with 2 brick built animals, robots, whatever you may call it, 2 minifigures. Lego is asking basically for $45, dollars US and euros, and of course, yeah, depending on where you live, you may have a different currency. Anyhow, I think it's a pretty cool set. I'm a big fan of these 2 minifigures. These are really amazing. Both Aloy and Val look really nice. Also like the animals. I should mention though that I've never played the game, so I don't know any of these games. I mean, for sure. I mean, the Lego game, I think you can't even play yet, but also I've never played any of the original Horizon games. But what I can say is that the minifigures are just amazing. And again, as always, you know, as a big Star Wars fan, you want to cry like every day, like how much effort is Lego putting into so many minifigures, not even the collectible series, but also like look at these and look at, I don't know, Ninjago and Monkey Kid and so many amazing minifigures, and Star Wars Lego is cheaping out. But anyhow, I think these are really cool minifigures. Really like the new bow mold, which is really cool. I hope that this thing will come to Lego Pick a Brick. And yeah, all in all, pretty nice set, and like I said, it goes with Lego Horizon Adventures. And then let's come to icons, and here we have the Fountain Garden, the 10359. That is going to come January 1st, by the way. The other set I just talked about, the Horizon one, is coming March 1st. This one, though, already January 1st. $100, 7.7 cents a piece, and it's actually 1,302 pieces. This comes as part of a new series that it seems Lego wants to start. It's called Gardens of the World, which is really, really cool. And yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful garden, interesting building techniques, a ton of pet printer pieces, as far as I can tell. Has a certain, like, Rivendell vibe when it comes to the amount of printed tiles, which I think is really nice. Also like the entire like Southern European vibe that this set has. Couple of interesting building techniques, and also I don't know, if you look, for those of you who watch this as in video form, like I currently publish this as video on TikTok, YouTube, and Spotify. And if you see what I'm currently have my mouse pointer on, I don't know, I've never seen these pieces. So I don't know, let me know in the comment section if you've seen these before, but I don't know, this seems different compared to the typical flower piece. So I don't know, I may be wrong here, maybe this is a mistake on my part. Anyhow, really like overall the design. Personally, I do believe if you look at the frame of this thing, it seems to be medium nougat. I would have preferred more like the traditional black variant, but that's of course easy to fix. It's just 2 pieces basically, or 3 pieces, 1x4, 1x3, and 2x4 and 2x3 tiles. And then you can easily switch this to a black version as well if you so desire. But yeah, all in all, pretty cool design. Pretty neat flowers, and as far as I can tell, similar to what they did with the Japanese garden set. It seems that you can remove the flowers and plug them in a different order or something like that. So yeah, all in all, pretty cool set. With that, we are moving on finally to the new, or the enormous lineup of, I think it's almost 20 sets that LEGO will release next year around Formula 1. So I think I did reporting on this, that LEGO acquired the Formula 1 license by FIA. So of course LEGO has always done Formula 1 stuff, but I think usually they work with individual teams. Now they have the entire thing, and they're going big on this. So let's go through this. So I think, as far as I can tell, so far we have 4 LEGO City sets that they announced. Let's start with the 60443, the Formula 1 pit stop and pit crew with a Ferrari car. This is, I would just mention the US prices. So based on my knowledge, this will be $30 in the US, is for only 322 pieces. However, it does have 4 minifigures. By the way, my apologies, the pictures that I currently have are not the highest resolution, but hopefully going forward we will get more and better pictures. And yeah, it's a Ferrari and everything that you need in order to run the box and stop, and it looks pretty cool. I mean, it's a LEGO City set, but all in all, quite a neat design. Also really like that we now have Formula 1 cars again in LEGO City with license and everything. Means a Ferrari logo. You have a Ferrari driver helmet with a Ferrari logo, I guess, and 3 box and crew members. And then you have Formula 1 garage with a Mercedes AMG and Alpine cars. And my understanding is that the 60444 with 678 pieces has these 2 cars, has 6 minifigures, not too shabby. And the idea is, I think, that you can, based on this gray handle in the center, kids can also carry it around. So you can open it up, you can close it again. I mean, LEGO has done this in the past quite a lot, especially with Harry Potter, for instance, which I think is always a neat idea. I think personally it's not robust enough to take this like, okay, I can go with that like anywhere, but it's more like for carrying around, you know, in the house or in the kids' room. It also almost has the vibe that you can stack these. So I don't know, maybe LEGO intends to make more of these if they go well. But yeah, all in all, 2 Formula 1 cars. And again, with license and everything in City, that's really cool for the kids, I do believe. And then we have the Formula 1 grid with V-Carb and Sauber race cars. What is interesting about this one? No, it is actually not. It's the same thing. Again, 2 cars in this size. So this is, of course, smaller than Speed Champion. And I think this set is most and foremost around the cars, or the Formula 1 racers, because there's only basically the finish line, which is not that much stuff. So I think this is, I guess, the most straightforward way to get your hands on 2 cars. By the way, let's talk about prices. This one here is again $30, 9.6 cents a piece. And however, the bigger one, the garage, is $80, 11.8 cents a piece. Ooh, that's not cheap. However, there are a lot of minifigures included. And then $100, the most expensive one from the City lineup, is a 60445. 9.2 cents a piece for a truck, and again 2 cars. And I think the truck looks really cool. Interesting question here, of course, is, as far as I can tell, we have 8x16 tiles on the side of the truck. So this is similar to what LEGO did with the LEGO truck, if you recall, the yellow one. So the set from LEGO made of LEGO pieces, that is a truck that transports LEGO pieces and LEGO sets, right? I don't know. Anyhow, you know what I'm talking about. And there, these 8x16 tiles on the side were pet printed, which was really cool. On the other hand, I mean, if you look at this box art, an 8x16 tile by LEGO doesn't look as good as they do here on the box art. Maybe LEGO has a new piece, and I would be the first to cheer if that is the case, but yeah, it might also be that somebody at LEGO did a little bit too much Photoshop again. Anyhow, so it would be really cool if these pieces would be pet printed, but again, the pictures that I have at this point in time are not that high of a resolution. And then we have something else, a 71049. So this is kind of a minifigure collectible series, if you will. No, but it's not minifigures. I don't know, keep me honest here in the comment section, but I think this is the first time that LEGO has used this minifigure collectible series format to do with sets, basically, because these are like 12 Formula 1 racers from all the different teams. There's a helmet included, and then there's basically Formula 1 race car. I guess these are all pet printed pieces, so that's really cool. It's $4, like minifigure collectible series sets. Lego will start this May 1st. And they basically say end of life or end of marketing will be August 31st, but which of course is realistic for minifigure collectible series kind of concept. In general, I do really like it. Personally, I'm not a big fan from an optics standpoint of these cars. This enormous helmet is interesting, but not really my cup of tea. Nevertheless, if you're a collector, this could be interesting for you. Or on the other hand, if you just need, you know, something small, maybe a gift, something that you bring, a guest gift, something like that, then this may be interesting as well. With that, we're coming back to icons again. And here we have a second Formula 1 racing car. We had the McLaren with Ayrton Senna. When was that? Was this year or last year? I think it was beginning of this year, right? Anyhow, now March 1st, the next one is coming. Icons Williams Racing FW14B with Nigel Mansell 10353. And it's gonna cost you $80, 799 pieces. So I really like the minifigure, and I will come to this in a second. Watch this minifigure. This is how a Formula 1 driver looks like. And I will come in a second to why I'm mentioning this. Anyhow, I think it has the same problem that the McLaren had, by means it's like a bazillion stickers, which is really unfortunate for an icon set. And I think even these plaques are stickered, which is very unfortunate. But I do really like the minifigure, like I said. The car design is also quite neat, and they even have different wheels or tires for front and rear axle, i.e. the front is smaller, and I will come in a second to why I'm talking about this as well. Anyhow, yeah, it's a mixed bag, if you ask me. I've said this many times. I do believe that in Lego's price range, they should not have stickers anymore. This should be behind us. So many brands are now brands that are actually a lot cheaper than Lego, and they are all moving to pet printed. I'm not just talking about Cobi, but also, I don't know, brands like Pantasy, Funhole, but also CaDA very recently. And I will come to this in a second as well. And yeah, Lego is still doing stickers and at the same time asking for the highest prices. That is not good, Lego. Anyhow, we will move on to Technic, and here March 1st we will have another Formula 1 race car in Technic. 42207. This one has 1,361 pieces. Lego is asking for $230 US. That's almost 17 cents a piece. That is actually $30 more than the predecessor, the McLaren. It does look cooler though, if you ask me, but, and again, I'm not an expert for Formula 1, but even here, I do believe that the front tires should be smaller than the rear tires. And yeah, Lego did cheap out here, but I may be wrong. I mean, I'm not a Formula 1 expert, but as far as I can tell, it has almost always, like in recent years, decades, I guess, not in the old days, but in recent decades, be the case that the back tires are much wider than the front tires. But I guess that was not in the budget with a $230 set. Next to that, it looks pretty cool though. I mean, yes, again, everything is just stickers. However, let's be honest, with large Technic sets, also the competition is mostly at this point in time still relying on stickers. I guess this will change, and I guess Lego will be last to make the switch. But at this point in time, stickers it is. You can see a lot of blueprints from the Technic pins from the outside, which is unfortunate, but I still believe it's okay because there are also a couple of blue stickers included as well. Do really like the tire design in general. They have slicks now, which is cool. It's about time, Lego, I should mention, but like I said, stickers and wheel size is a bit problematic, but in general, Ferraris always look good, right? They are red, and this is pretty cool. 1,361 pieces. Don't really understand why they raised prices compared to the McLaren. So now we're coming to Speed Champions. So I will not go through all of them in a lot of detail, but in general, I mean, I will list them again all down below if you're interested, and we will just pick the Kick Sauber, the 77247. So if you look at it, let's first talk about the minifigure. And yes, I'm sorry, but now I have, there's a lot to criticize, I think, about these sets. First of all, look at the minifigure. I mean, I talked about Nigel Mansell before the minifigure. Mansell or Manson? Nigel Mansell. Mansell? I don't know how to pronounce this. I'm sorry. My apologies for my ignorance. I'm not a native speaker, but I can talk about this car. So first, I mean, compare the minifigures. That is what I was talking about. It's a problem, and I think now, I mean, they have now the Formula One license. They are launching like 10 speed champions. And I think they also want to sell them in a large box. I mean, this was about the time, right, for Lego to do a couple of changes and quality improvements. They did not. These minifigures look really boring, most of them. And this one here is a good example, right? This does not look like a Formula One driver, and I think it should. I mean, I don't know what this is supposed to be, like a test driver, I don't know. But definitely it does not look like a Formula One driver. They cheaped out here, and I think that is not acceptable. The same thing is true, I think, again, tires. Same size on front and back, and a bazillion stickers. So let's talk about Kick Sauber, because there's an alternative. And just to make my point here, this is the new CaDA set. That is actually basically the same price, right? It's $27, and Lego is... yeah, it's again similar, $27. So they cost the same. Yes, Lego does have a minifigure, CaDA does not, but the Lego minifigure actually does not look very good. So I think we can safely ignore this. And if you look at CaDA, yes, they don't use the same tires in front and back. In fact, these tires look a lot more realistic than Lego does. And everything that you see here is pet printed. So this is the kind of quality that you can or should expect and ask for in 2024. The piece quality, by the way, I did build this car, is basically the same as Lego is. And I mean, there are a few benefits that Lego still have, like digital instructions, which CaDA usually doesn't come around with, at least not at launch of the set, maybe at a later time. But I mean, and of course, you can always argue about which one has the better brick design. Personally, I do believe CaDA is even the more beautiful design, but that's up to taste. But my point here is, this is the kind of quality that we should expect for our money, and Lego is not delivering anymore. And this is a problem, right? Because the market is moving very, very quickly, especially in the last 12 months. Many Chinese companies have really raised up the bar when it comes to quality and value, basically, i.e. what is in the box. By the way, CaDA has a lot better and nicer and more beautiful boxes than Lego as well nowadays. So if you're looking for a present for a Formula One fan, this is a much better set. Anyhow, if you're a big collector, of course, and you want to have all of them, CaDA only has this one team, of course. Speed Champions may be for you. In general, I would go for CaDA, though. Long story short, these Speed Champions will launch March 1st. I have heard rumors that Lego also wants to sell like a box with all of them, all 10 of them included, but I've even heard that this may even cost the same thing as buying the 10 sets individually, so I'm not really sure what the point is. But anyhow, maybe Lego's coming around the corner with something nice. Anyhow, like I said, I will link all of them down below. Then another Technic set, a Ducati Panigale V4S motorcycle for 2202. Lego's asking for $200 for 1,603 pieces, and yeah, this one is... I really like the Technic design. I mean, I'm not a motorcycle guy. I mean, I'm not a petrolhead whatsoever in any shape or form. I don't even own a car, but I for sure don't know anything about motorcycles. But for me, at least as a complete greenhorn when it comes to motorcycles, for me it looks really cool. You can't see that many blue pins, which I always prefer, and really like the tire design that Lego has now going for some time now. There are a couple of Panigale stickers included, but I think you can safely ignore them and they will still look very nice. However, that the plaque is only a sticker is something that, again, I don't understand. Lego is doing so many sets nowadays with printed plaques, so why not this one? It's weird. Anyhow, 42202, $200, starting January 1st, actually. And with that, we're moving on to Pantasy. And they have another G pattern set, 86701. So I did build from this license one of the Technic sets, and I really liked it. this one I think I did build, the 86703. At least in this set, in this big Technic set, all the pieces were printed, including the Technic panels, which almost no company is doing nowadays. That's why I do guess that this one will be printed as well, and I also guess that this will be BlueBrixx. 422 pieces, 20 bucks, 4.7 cents a piece, and this is basically Speed Champion format, if you will. With that, we're moving on, and we have availability only in Europe, it seems. I haven't seen these sets with any Chinese retailers, but we have now 3 Reobrix World of Tanks license sets. So first of all, we have a Sherman. World of Tanks license is kind of weird. I mean, why would you do it? But my understanding is there's a bonus code in this set included that gives you gold and a crew book and consumables. Case of cola. Oh, interesting. Anyhow, it's a Sherman, and I think the big benefit, I think this is 1x30 scale, so it's basically in the same. I mean, Cobi is doing 1x28 and 1x35 for their tanks, so I think this is roughly compatible with Cobi's tanks. So however, I do believe these sets are more interesting if you basically say, hey, I want to build tanks, but I want to do this with regular bricks, because of course Cobi is doing a lot of very different brick designs, especially if you want to go into mocking. I think doing MOCs with Cobi pieces is not that easy, for one reason, because it's much harder to get them apart compared to regular bricks. So this may be for you in this case. However, Reobrix, I mean, I don't know, most Reobrix sets I've built were entirely sticker based compared to Cobi. So yeah, I guess it's a matter of taste. They are a little bit cheaper though than most Cobi tanks. 836 pieces, 40 bucks over here in Europe, 4.8 cents a piece, and we're talking about 77030 for the Sherman. Then they have a Tiger tank. Tiger 1 is that in this case, oder Panzerkampfwagen Tiger Ausführung E, to say this in German. This is a 1x28 scale version, so should work very well together with Cobi. 77031. And for this one over here, BlueBrixx is asking for 50 bucks. That's again not BlueBrixx, the brick brand, but just a retailer over here in Germany. And 1,138 pieces that is. And then we have the TUG2 77032. So I think this is First World War. 1x30 scale again, 1,427 pieces. I mean, these bad boys were a lot bigger than what was common after the Second World War. Or during Second World War, 60 bucks, 4.2 cents a piece. With that, we're coming to a couple of reading recommendations. I did do a review on the Cyberpunk Police Patrol car by Funhole 9043. Beautiful car. I really like this. I mean, I'm not the biggest Cyberpunk fan in the traditional sense. I mean, I am kind of. But like this police car, it looks futuristic, but this is not what I would see as Cyberpunk, but I guess it depends on your taste. So all in all, pretty cool set. There's a nice and neat minifigure included. And what I really liked about this one, let's come to this picture here, is the entire light design. As of course, that's the party piece of Funhole, right? Every Funhole piece has an entire lighting kit included. And here they made even these special police signs for the side, which I think is really cool. Looks beautiful in general, though you can only throw in one minifigure, even if this is almost bigger than a Speed Champion. It's roughly in the same size. But I guess the party piece here is the lighting. Really did like this. And yeah, and again, no stickers in the set. It's all pad printed, as is this same set. I mean, this may, for you in the international audience, just make this very quick, because I think you can't even buy these outside of Germany or outside of Europe. This is from BlueBrixx, the Schlüter Eurotrack. So this is a very famous tractor design over here from Europe. Schlüter was a German truck tractor manufacturer, and they did this very iconic tractor with the Eurotrack, which I think was in the early 90s. They are still driving around. They did not make many of these, but these are really hard to come by nowadays, and it was a very iconic design and kind of a spiritual successor of the famous MP truck. I mean, at least famous in Europe, but anyhow. And yeah, now I think they did this track. BlueBrixx did this one before, but now it has a front loader and a sprayer included. It's like a newer, bigger package, if you will.
Pieces are from BlueBrixx, very high quality, was a lot of fun to build, and there's even a couple of pet printed pieces included, which are not that important for the set, right? It's like a license plate and a big Schlüter plaque in front, which is not even authentic by means a tractor did have this. No, the Schlüter sign was actually very, very tiny on the tractor. Anyhow, with that, we're moving on to another funnel review. Funnel Deer Crossing, a 9053. This is, of course, the very famous arc from the Arches National Park in Utah. My wife was there like decades ago, and she told me like in the early morning when the sun is rising up, there were like 200 people with a photograph back in the day with a camera. Nowadays, I guess there are 500 people with a smartphone. But anyhow, they have the arc. Again, funnel is all about lighting. The arc itself does not have any. This is just, I don't know, a decoration piece. The car does, of course. Very simple, just the headlights and the backlights. And of course, everything is BlueBrixx and pet printed. Or no, not everything. I think is pet printed. There were also like UV direct prints included. And yes, I do know that I put this piece on here that you currently see below the mouse pointer in the wrong. It's upside down. But anyhow, I'm not the biggest fan of the cars. I think the wheels look a little bit too tiny. But next to that, I think it is quite a beautiful set. And as you can see here, for instance, this map piece that you see here, the 2x2 tile, that is UV direct print. This is not pet printed. It's a mix. It's a mix as usually done by Funhole. With that, we're coming to a deal for those of you who live in Europe. They are also shipping internationally, so this could be interesting for you. Just as a quick FYI, so first of all, BlueBrixx is having their Blue Week as part of Black Week or Black Friday. They have pretty cool discounts on their site. So, for instance, and just as a quick reminder, and I'm pretty sure I did report on this, BlueBrixx license deal is running out mid of next year. So BlueBrixx has to get rid of all their Star Trek sets. So they have now enormous discounts. It's basically a sellout, and sellout, is that the correct? No, I think that's the wrong word, right? Anyhow, huge discounts. They need to get rid of these. And for instance, a lot of these sets from the first wave, the large ones like the NCC 7001 or 1701D, they are now running with 65% discount. So even if you have this import like into North America, and I think they do ship there, of course, I assume some kind of customs will come on top. This may be the time. Plus, based on what I hear from the political scene, especially in the US, your next president intends to put much higher customs on shipments from Europe. So this may be the perfect time to buy into Star Trek. And like I said, this era of BlueBrixx is ending. So this may be for you. But of course, if you're living in the Union, European Union, that is, of course, you can directly buy from BlueBrixx. So in general, they have promotions on a ton of sets, like on hundreds of sets. And I put here links in the news, both to the Star Trek specific page as well as the general promotion page with all the different sets. What they also do is, like during this week, like every day, they have also kind of a special model, and with that, additional sets with 30% discount. And today, that is Tuesday, the 26th of November. And again, when I talk about day, I mean based on Central European time. BlueBrixx is located in Central Germany. That is 30% discounts on certain science fiction sets, like their own RoboCop sets, but also additional Star Trek sets that are discount only today, as well as a couple of other things. So again, I did link the promotion page. With that, we're moving on to MOCs of the week, and here we have the Aliens Micro Diorama by Jelco, which I think is a really cool alien design. We just had a convention last week over here in Stuttgart, the Schwabenstein, which is a huge Lego convention, and there I did have my Endor mock there, and on basically the table next to me, this guy had a ton of amazing, not Jelco here, a different designer, had a ton of alien pieces, huge starships, but also, of course, the armored personnel carrier. It does look really, really cool. But anyhow, I also really like this Jelco design. It's 1,160 pieces. There are 5 aliens included. No, it's even 6. And the armored personnel carrier, I guess, trying to escape. $8 by Jericho. And then a really cool design by BlueBrixx again, the Rebel Alliance Mon Calamari MC80 Liberty Class Heavy Battle Cruiser. That's quite a mouthful, but it is a beautiful design by BlueBrixx. So yeah, another cool design. It has almost 3,000 pieces and is 80 centimeters in length, 31 inches. So this is not too shabby and should have the same scale as the Lego UCS Star Destroyer. So I do believe this would be an amazing design to go with the Star Destroyer. I mean, these things were even going head to head, right, during the battle over Endor. So this may even be, you know, a cool thing, not just to have it next to the UCS Star Destroyer, but maybe also think about a battle and, you know, with lighting and everything. So many things you could do with it. It is a beautiful design. 2,992 pieces, $25 US. That's not cheap, but I think personally I do believe it's absolutely worth it. With that, moving on to Andrace Bakery. In brackets, it's BDB6 version or Bricklane Designer Program version. So my guess is this is a design that was entered in the Bricklane Designer Program but didn't make it. 3,799 pieces, $10, and it is a beautiful design. I love the color scheme. The entire brickwork is just amazing. The walls look beautiful, most and foremost plate-based with a little bit of masonry bricks thrown in. Looks amazing. The roof, using the standard slopes, which very often looks a bit too simple, but I think here it really works because there's more than enough detail around it. Really like this big archangel, has a certain Diablo 2 vibe, if you ask me, in the front. And yeah, it's modular. Very detailed. Oh my god, this is how Lego sets should look like nowadays. But it is a mock. Anyhow, 3,800 pieces, not too shabby. With that, we're moving on to Winter Kindergarten. Kindergarten even. Okay, this is the German way. I think in English you write this kindergarten, right? Which is fun because Kinder, by the way, that is German for children. So it makes a ton of sense, but it's one of these funny words that have moved over from German into the English language, at least in the US, that is. I don't even know. What do the British say? Do you guys say kindergarten as well? Anyhow, let's call it out. Winter Kindergarten. Our Little Stars by Little Thomas, 1,485 pieces. For euros 50 cents for the design, and I really like this. I think I've built a couple of alternate builds by Little Thomas in the past around Lego's Winter Village collection, but this one here is free mock. It looks really amazing. It's just a ton of fun, right? I mean, this is how a kindergarten should look like. It is really beautiful. There's a ton of color included, but still has a nice winter vibe. And then we have here by BlueBrixx MOCs, kind of a combination of the Gasganos Pod Racer and Mos Espa Pod Race. Throw these two together with 200 additional pieces and you have a bigger pod race, which is really cool. Of course, it does not fix the problem of Lego's design that the arc is basically too small. The larger pod races can't even fit through, which was, I think, a huge mishap by the Lego design team of the original set. Anyhow, $3 for this combination extension, whatever you might call it. And then coming to a really amazing project, if you ask me, by BlueBrixx, who's working on his Brickman Tower. And here I think my understanding is these will be overall 9 different MOCs. They are free of charge, which is really amazing. I just picked just one. I think this is the, I don't know, private offices and conference room. It's an amazing concept for those of you who want to build a skyscraper into your city. You don't really know how to start. I mean, this is not only like an amazing design, and it's free. I think it also may help you to get an idea like how to do this. The only thing is that, as far as I can tell, based on these pictures, these are just renderers, and the construction, I'm not sure how sturdy this is going to be if it's at full height, especially considering, I mean, if you look at the window panel piece, or it's not panels, window pieces, they're just stacked, you know, one on the other, but there's nothing that holds them together besides on top and bottom these couple of hinges. So I don't know, that's not much structure, but I think it should work. I just do believe you have to be very careful when you put this thing together. Anyhow, an amazing design by BlueBrixx. Really like this. And then we're moving on to my kind of personal highlight for this week, because I'm a huge fan of the Dungeons and Dragons minifigure collection. And I think what the Brick Cave has done here is an amazing idea. I mean, the general concept of putting this into one of these IKEA Sanahet. Yes, I'm from Europe, but still don't speak Swedish. Anyhow, the IKEA Sanahet frame, and the idea is basically that you have a nice place and a protected place, actually, because you can throw in the glass, the designer is claiming. And this is, I think, a great way to present the minifigure collection. It doesn't take much space, not many pieces, actually 910 pieces. But it's a very secure way, and it's really amazing if you look into it. And you can even, use this one here as a starting point and then throw in your own ideas and concepts. But yeah, in general, I'm a big fan. Really like the vampire hanging from the roof there. Pretty cool stuff. And with that, we're moving on to, last but not least, the Blacksmith's Breeze by BlueBrixx. 1,717 pieces, €9 for the instructions. And yeah, I mean, I think it's, again, by BlueBrixx, like so often, it is a beautiful castle design. So in general, this is a designer I really recommend to take a look at. If you are into castle, you have all the Lego sets, but that's still not enough, and you're looking for inspiration or maybe even an entire design to move forward. I think many of BlueBrixx designs go very, very well with Lego's castle sets. So yeah, I mean, nowadays it's easier than ever to go into castle, right? So many minifigures and parts and pieces you can buy directly nowadays with Lego's Pick a Brick service, like all the shields and the torsos and everything. So this is the time to move big into castle, I do believe. Even if Lego is, of course, not doing as many sets as they used to, especially no kid sets anymore. But I think with everything in Pick a Brick, there is nothing that holds you back to do it on your own. With that, we are done with the show. As always, I really like or really highly appreciate wherever you listen to this or watch this, leave a like or comment or follow or subscribe or rate, or I don't know, it's called differently on any platform. But nevertheless, all of it is highly appreciated, and even more so if we have 22,000 sets now in the database. So if there is a set that is missing, just let me know. If you have built one of these sets, actually I'm currently not logged in, that's why I can't do it, but there's a way Okay, let's briefly log in. There is a way to rate these sets. So if you have built one of these, you can give 1 to 10 stars. As soon as we have a certain amount of ratings, we will publish this on the site. So this helps out the community a lot. And also, if you have anything, let's assume you have built this set, you know how many building steps there are, how many prints are in there, how many stickers, how many minifigures. Data may be missing in the database or may be wrong, so you can just click on this link on every site. Every set in the database has its own site. Click this link, missing or wrong data. And then you will come to a form where you can send me your additions or corrections. With that, thanks for listening. See you next week.